I used to believe that trust was unbreakable, that love, once given, was a shield against deceit. My wife, Zara, had been my partner, my confidant, my world. We shared routines, laughter, dreams whispered late at night, and a life that looked steady and secure from the outside. I trusted her completely, without hesitation, without doubt. I never imagined that behind her smiles, she was hiding a life that would shatter everything I believed. It started subtly small inconsistencies. Excuses for late nights, a phone that would buzz and then be hidden when I entered the room. I dismissed them at first, telling myself I was imagining things. Love requires patience, after all, but intuition is rarely wrong. The nagging unease that grew in my chest refused to be silenced. The truth revealed itself unexpectedly. One evening, while she was in the shower, a notification lit up her phone, a message from a man whose name I didn't recognize. The conversation was intimate, ongoing, unmistakable. My stomach twisted, my heart felt raw, but I did not act impulsively. Anger is easy. Strategy is difficult. If I wanted justice and the chance to reclaim my life, I needed patience, observation, and evidence. I began documenting everything. Dates, messages, calls, receipts, small contradictions in her stories, all became part of a growing ledger of truth. I watched her carefully, noting her routines, the subtle behaviors she believed I wouldn't notice, the small slips that would eventually become undeniable proof. At the same time, I rebuilt myself. I returned to old routines, exercised, reconnected with friends, and focused on work projects I had abandoned. I became deliberate and composed, the opposite of the chaos her betrayal threatened to create. Weeks passed. Zara continued her deception, confident that love would shield her from consequences. Her arrogance became her weakness. Each misstep, each lapse in secrecy, became another piece of evidence. I realized then that revenge does not need to be loud or dramatic. It only needs to be inevitable. I didn't want to humiliate her publicly. Public spectacle is fleeting. I wanted consequences that were precise, quiet, and lasting. I wanted her to feel the weight of her betrayal without the distraction of drama. I wanted her life to be reshaped by accountability, not by spectacle. The day I acted, I created an ordinary evening at home. I cooked her favorite meal, set the table carefully, and played music we both loved. The atmosphere was familiar and comforting, the perfect contrast to the revelation that would dismantle her illusion. I slid the folder containing all the evidence across the table. Her confident smile faltered for the first time in months. I began reading aloud, calmly and deliberately, dates, messages, calls, receipts, every fact irrefutable. Her composure cracked. She tried to explain, to deflect, to charm her way out, but the evidence left no room for manipulation. Every attempt at denial failed. She had assumed love was a shield, that trust would protect her from consequence. She was wrong. I did not raise my voice. I did not cry. I let the truth speak. Every privilege she had relied upon, my trust, my tolerance, my emotional availability, was withdrawn. The home that had once felt shared became mine again, a space no longer compromised by deceit. I had turned heartbreak into clarity, deception into evidence, and betrayal into empowerment. In the weeks that followed, I reclaimed my life. I strengthened friendships she had neglected, pursued ambitions I had set aside, and rebuilt routines disrupted by her secrets. She attempted to manipulate and charm her way back into influence, but the power she once held over me was gone. Her world, carefully constructed on lies, began to crumble quietly, methodically. Friends and colleagues noticed inconsistencies she could no longer hide, and the foundation she had built on deceit eroded inexorably. The satisfaction I felt was subtle but profound. I had loved deeply, then deceived thoroughly, and emerged stronger, wiser, and more aware of my boundaries. My revenge was not cruel or dramatic. It was the restoration of balance, dignity, and control. I realized that the pain of betrayal, while sharp and devastating, could be transformed into strength when approached with strategy. Months later, my life had regained stability. The apartment that had once felt compromised now felt like home. I rebuilt routines, nurtured relationships, and allowed myself to heal fully. The betrayal that had threatened to destroy me became a lesson in patience, observation, and deliberate action that Zara had hidden a life I did not know existed. She had assumed my love would shield her from accountability. She was wrong. Trust had died, but revenge rose, quiet, inevitable, and precise. It restored balance, reclaimed dignity, and allowed me to live a life governed by truth rather than deception. In the end, I learned a crucial lesson. The only power a betrayer truly holds is the power you allow them to wield. By refusing to be powerless, I reclaimed mine. Betrayal is painful, but revenge measured, deliberate, and inevitable can be profoundly satisfying. It is not the infliction of suffering that heals, but the reclamation of control, the restoration of boundaries, and the knowledge that one can rise from betrayal with strength intact. Trust may die, but revenge can rise from the ashes, reshaping what was lost into something stronger, clearer, and undeniably yours.